are just getting ready to pull in to the Goodwill Bins in Nashville. The parking lot looks full. I did buy this contraption to try and get some video in the bins. Hopefully, I'll get some good footage. Let's go on in and see what treasures we can find. This place is so busy today. There are no carts. But my first stop is always to the back corner of this bin where they have a small little table where they put some breakable items. And so I always like to start here and see if I can find any treasures. And I thought that these Christmas plates were so pretty. And there's also this brass lamp there that I was thinking about, some coffee items, and some lamps. But those lamps were really light and poor quality. Oh, and look what happened. My husband found a cart. Thank you so much, honey. And so now we can get to some serious shopping. Then I came upon this wonderful wall hanging, but unfortunately it had several cracks in it, so I had to put it back. This just goes to show you, you never know what you'll find at the bins. Just look at this Parisian showgirl costume. And these are the kind of things you can always find at the bins. They have tons of signs, and this one was, I believe, from Joann's at $25 for its original price. And then there was this sign, which is a solid piece of wood, so a wonderful candidate for a DIY project. Oh. She's gonna help me get that white picture. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. Oh, yay. Oh, I am just so thrilled to have this. And these are beautiful sage green color, and none of them are broken. And I'm continuing to dig through here. There is still a lot of Christmas items. See that? They're taking the bins away and they're going to get new ones out. And then everybody is lining up. And while I'm waiting for the new bins to come out, I thought I'd sneak over to the book table or the book bins. And I found this really old book, and it's filled with information about composers. I loved its age, I loved the colors, so in the basket it went. And the new bins have arrived, and I just want you to see, look at all these people. They are to my left, to my right, everywhere, and they are storming the bins. So I find a corner, and I start my treasure digging again. And there wasn't any room, so I had to go around the corner and try and find another place to dig for some hidden treasures. And it wasn't very long before I found the next thing. Look at this gorgeous wire basket. And so I left the bins with a full cart. At the bins, sometimes you hit it and sometimes you don't. And so I definitely hit it this week. You can always find greenery or flowers or seasonal picks. So there's always something. Like they had a lot of Christmas stuff still. They had fall. I left those because I believe I have enough right now. But look at all this stuff I can use for spring and summer. So I just wanted you to see that sometimes it's junky quality, so I do try to leave those behind, but other times look how gorgeous this peony is. I think this peony and this one were probably at least like $9 regular price for each stem at like Hobby Lobby, so I love that. And I think this is like Queen Anne's lace. Look at that. I know. I was just so thrilled. When you're looking for things, go into multiple bins for the same item. If you see something you like, dig deeper, because sometimes you can find more in that bin, but then also in other bins too. So don't give up. I found a couple more strands of eucalyptus, and I found just one of these little strands, which I believe is like a ranunculus. But then I found a lot of these ranunculus. So they're shorter, but they're gonna be perfect in a vase. And look how realistic they look. Jackpot on that alone. It has no dents in it, and it has the Hobby Lobby $9.99 price tag on it. And so it's super lightweight. It's galvanized. Got this for $1.59. And let's go ahead and DIY this. Let's do a thrift flip on this for spring, and then we'll style it. And so this is how this looks. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I even styled it on top of one of the books that I got from the bins this week. So the first step is, of course, to clean it. And once we've done that, we're gonna go ahead and make some air dry clay molds of trim. And I'm using Crayola air dry clay, and I'm just grabbing it out and massaging it to warm it up to prepare it to go into the mold. And once the clay is ready, you're gonna take some cornstarch and then liberally dust your mold so that is so it can easily release. So now you're ready to go ahead and put your air dry clay into the mold, pressing it in to make sure it gets all the way in, so that is how you get the best impression on your clay. And then you're just going to take the excess clay off. I'm just using a butter knife this time, but you can even use your hands for this. And now you're ready to apply your clay to your item. And I'm going to use tight bond glue to adhere it. And you want to do this while it's still pliable or malleable so that it can bend over your item without cracking. And you're going to repeat these same steps until you have enough trim to go around the neck of the watering can and then also over the handle. And as you apply, make sure that you remove off any excess glue with a wet paper towel so that you don't have glue lines once you're ready to paint. Once all of your trim is in place, you're going to leave it to dry overnight. And now we're ready to start painting, and we are going to start with the stencil. And so what we're going to do is use some painter's tape to hold that stencil in place. And I'm doing this especially because we're bending it over a round object, which means that the stencil is a little bit more inclined to lift up. And make sure that you tape over any small items that you don't want to get any paint in on your stencil. And this time I am using my antiquing wax for painting. I've got a little sponge dauber, and the key to getting a really crisp image on your stencil is to make sure that that dauber or whatever brush you're using is pretty dry. So less is more. It is better to put some light coats on, lift up because you've got the tape on there so you can use that as a hinge, peek, and then make sure that your stencil is colored in as dark as you want it. I love how that turned out. So we're going to set it to dry, and once it is dried, I'm just taking a sanding block and I am lightly going over the letters to give it a little bit of distressing and age. And we're wiping off any of the loose paint particles, and now we're ready to go ahead and paint those air dry clay pieces with some white chalk paint. And then we'll go ahead and seal the entire thing up with some clear wax. And once that is dry, and it doesn't take long, we're going to use our antiquing wax and a wet paper towel just to add a little bit of distressing and age throughout the vessel, paying attention especially to try and get it in some cracks and crevices and where it would normally occur due to wear and tear. And look how it turned out. I absolutely love it. And now let's go ahead and add some flowers so we can display it right away. One tip I have is to bend the stems. And the reason why I don't cut them and I like to bend them is because then I can reuse them over and over again. And if I've got a taller vase or a shorter vase, it will work with them all. And what I want to do is really make those two peonies the centerpiece of this arrangement. And so I place those first. And now I'm going to put in the filler flowers around it. And what I'm trying to do is give it kind of a messy, natural look. I want it to look like we went outside and we picked these flowers from our garden and then we just stuck them in the watering can. So we want it to look natural and not overly fussy. And look how it turned out. Oh, it is so sweet and makes me smile because I cannot wait for the flowers to come back in bloom. So I got this basket. Was so excited. I love me a scallop. It has these beautiful handles, and when I looked this up, I did that Google image search. It comes up as Ballard Designs. Oh my gosh, so it's the first Ballard Designs things I've ever owned. And this is how I am using it and styling it. I've got some of my little hand towels inside of it, and it's placed inside a hutch in my bathroom. So I probably got this for like $2, I want to say. And then I found all of these. This is a staple, like packing material, the shred, and you can always find it new in the bag. I believe it's even like 30 cents. And so I'm always having to ship things out, and so it's nice to have beautiful packing materials. So I always get that. I also found this jute twine, which you know, as a DIYer, you always need that. And I found a little bit of this beautiful Christmas burlap ribbon. I just can never resist burlap. It is much cheaper to get it at the bins. For me, I try to get higher quality than I could afford if I were shopping at those stores. I found this. This is Fenton. I looked it up. Yes. So it is currently selling for $30 a pair. So this alone was $15. It's definitely filthy because someone was using it this way, I think, to hold their stems, but it's a candle holder this way as well. Then I got some candle holders. They are made in China, so just resin, but really nice sized, and I plan on DIYing these. I also got this wood tray, and it is wood, so that's super exciting. And this came from Kirkland's, and it said $15 original price, and it's a really nice size tray. So let's go ahead and DIY this. So the first thing I want to do is add some feet to the tray, just in case I want it to sit up from the bottom, or you can always turn it on its side. So I'm adding these as a precaution. I've got these giant wood beads, and I'll put a link to this as well as some of the other DIY supplies that I use in the description below. And what I'm going to do is attach these feet with some Titebond wood glue. And now that I've let that glue set up, I am ready to start my painting. And I'm using just some white chalk paint, and I am going to thin that down with a lot of water just to make a wash. And then I'm going to paint that over the entire tray. And the reason why I'm doing that is this tray has a pinkish hue to it, not just a creamy hue, and I want it more in the cream family. And once I've got all the sides coated along with the feet and the bottom of the tray, I am going to set it aside to dry so that it will be ready for the next step, where I'm going to use a rub-on transfer to decorate it. So I've got this transfer, and I cut it out because there were more flowers on it than what I wanted. I really wanted to focus on the center. And I'm just trying to position it in the tray, utilizing that little sanding block as a measuring tool to help me get it on there evenly. And I've peeled off the back, and now I'm ready to use my little popsicle stick to apply pressure all over the rub-on. and that is what causes it to adhere. So I'm going to do all of the spots, and then I'm going to start in the corner and start lifting it up. And if any of the transfer is still stuck to that transfer paper, you just put it back down and rub that popsicle stick over it until it is all transferred. And now what I'm doing is just taking the back of that transfer and burnishing it down and running my little sander over it to distress it a bit. And now that I have mopped up the dust, it is ready to be sealed. And I am just using clear wax as a protectant for it. And I'm just going to apply that to the entire tray. And I love the way it turned out. So here it is, styled in that same hutch in my bathroom. And with these rub-ons, you cannot even see any markings. Do you love it as much as I do? I found one of these with the wrapper still on, so brand new. And look, it's Luminar brand. Oh my gosh, yes. So the Cadillac of these faux candles, because this wick moves. Isn't that so great? And so I looked this up, and it's about $30 for one of these candles. You can see the total bookshelf from the top, which has the Luminara candle, all the way up there. There is the tray again, and there is that Ballard Designs wire basket. Now let me know, do you think I should paint this white, black, or like gray to match the walls? So I know that I need to paint it, so I'd love your feedback in the comments below. Then I got a couple other things. So I found these little book stands, picture stands, cookbook stands. So they're really, really distressed. So I'll probably, zhuzh these up. I'm gonna put these in my DIY pile, and we'll do these together someday. And then, speaking of metal, I found two of these metal wall hangers, and they're also very heavy, and these are not expensive, I don't believe, but I still think they were a great value. I think these would look gorgeous. One, you could turn them into a candle holder, but I was thinking to get an empty frame and to basically put this inside like art and to distress this. So even if they went like this with one higher and lower, so I think that's so fun. And then I could not resist this. You guys are gonna laugh. Look how big this pumpkin is. I want to make this kind of look like more like concretey, stony, turn it more into like gray and white decor. And it has a place where I could just stick a light in it and light that up. And so I think that is so great because it is such a big size pumpkin. So I believe these pumpkins, when I was looking in the store, are at least like about 25 bucks, I think. And I could not resist her. Look at this sweet little angel. And she's like to hang, but she would make a great ornament. She would even make a beautiful topper for someone's package. And look at her face. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Another staple that I found was this wire form wreath. Now this I found, look at this caning material. Okay, you're not gonna believe how much it is. Oh my gosh, can you believe it is that much money? And I don't even have a project, but you know what? I've seen lots of rocking chairs with the caning on it, or other chairs. I've even seen people put this in as inserts inside of like dressers or frames. So I know that I will use this in the future. This cost me about $1.59 as well. And then I got several books. I have been looking for these Reader Digest books. I watch Jamie Ray Vintage, and they're always getting these, and they try and do them based on the color because they can use them for styling. So I don't know what it was, but there was so many orange ones. I actually put some back. but I thought this was super fun. And this one, the spines are really pretty. I did a search on these, and so if you wanted to resell any of the books, so one was $6 and one was $10. I know Jamie Ray, they sell all of their Reader's Digest books for $10, and they sell them all the time. Books at mine are 59 cents a pound. So I got these 4, and I also got this book. This is from the 1940s, and it says, you know, living biographies of great composers. Some graphics that could potentially be used. So I played the piano when I was growing up, and so I really like that. And then look, I wonder what this is. Oh, this is the book jacket. So look at that. It was folded up on the inside. So it's got this beautiful book jacket. Even though this cover is so worn, but this is gonna be so beautiful for styling, don't you think? And I also got this Calvin and Hobbes, a little comic strip, you know, because we don't really read newspapers anymore, but my mother always loved reading the funnies, she used to call them. And Calvin and Hobbes was in there, and this has color and black and white. And so I can't wait to give this to her because I think she'll really enjoy it. And my mom is 93. Yes, 93. So all of these books were $5.60 plus tax. Next, I got this. Look at this, it's a bendable yardstick. Isn't that fun? You know, I always need to draw lines that are straight lines that are longer than 12 inches. And so I thought, I need one of these, and it's light as a feather, so it only cost me cents. And then I found a few vintage cards. Look at some of these images. And so I thought these were so sweet. And there's definitely more Victorian ones too. I also do junk journaling, and I make journals on my other channel, and paper crafts and gingerbread there, which is Lilo Crafts. And I'll put a link to that channel in the description below. And I've had that channel for probably over 4 years, maybe longer. This is my new channel that I'm just starting. So if you wanna go check that out, I would love it. So that is my haul. My total I spent was $38 on all of this, and that includes, they ask you if you'd like to round up, so of course we always want to round up to help others. So $38, what an awesome haul, right? I think I hit Goodwill Bins gold. And I hope you do too on your next trip to the thrift store. If you'd like to take a closer look at all of these, I'm going to do a panning, and you can see that next. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share if you think somebody else would enjoy this content. I so appreciate you, and I hope you find lots of cozy discoveries. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.